Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now, here's Jay.
Well, it always gets my head bouncing, that. Not my favorite tune of all, but for some reason it affects my whole, and my head just pops around, like when you watch pigeons and other birds walking around. That's what happens to my head and neck. So I are the producer of this show, and it is called The Educated Retirement. So welcome, and I hope you had a very good week. And we've got some things that have happened this week, and, so far so good. So we're here on KMET 1490 AM. We're also on FM, but it's just pretty small signals. But we got to get them to increase that signal while I scratch my nose here. So on this show, we're going to contemplate retirement and how to best prepare for retirement and how to best stay successfully retired. So we've got some really, really great guests on today's show, of course, and coming up also some public television stars on reverse. Tom Hegna is coming, that kind of thing. Anyway, absolutely meet your retirement needs. Top off your tank to make it all the way to wherever you're going. And where you're going these days seems to be like at least 90, 95, 100, 105 years old. And being a student of biology, I was taught we're supposed to live to 120, but that's kind of what we were designed for. But I want to know why we're not designed to live 1,000 years. I mean, I'm having fun being alive. So you can't have fun if you run out of money. Now, maybe you can. I think if you're young and you have no money, it might be interesting to be homeless. But at this, and get a little group together on the sidewalk. I don't know if anybody's ever thought of that. I guess I'm pretty silly to be thinking of that. But at this age, no, ain't going to happen. So please give me a call anytime. Even now, you can give me a call. I'll probably answer it. And here it is. Okay. You got that? And I've got that too. 866-955-2233. And it is 866-955-2233. And if I was any younger, I wouldn't have to look at it every now and then to make sure I wasn't mixing up the numbers. And you can also take a look at drheckham.com. Now that I'm not a doctor like the doctor that's going to be on our show a little later. Dr. A and Mr. B, which is the name of a new movie coming out, but they're going to be with us a little bit later. And, they handle hospice care and put a whole new meaning in my vocabulary, in my mind, about what that really means. So it's not as scary as you might think. But drheckham.com, and Heckham again, home equity conversion mortgage, or the longer version, which is the same name as this, theeducatedretirement.com. And you can always email me at bestloantoday@gmail.com, singular, bestloantoday@gmail.com. And if I get any of your information, some people belong to the Better Business Bureau. I belong to the Don't Bug People Because You Have Their Information Bureau. So do not expect me to be bugging you all the time. You bug me, I love it, and we talk from there. Remember, the future is now, as Hudsucker would say. And let's talk about the future at 866-955-2233. And take a look at that website. You can watch this show live. You can watch anybody's show over the last month or so. It's all there on the website, on the link that takes you to KMET. There's also a lot of videos, that are on there, including what I did last week on this show was the webinar for Facebook, which is kind of a 30-minute overview. And I thought that was pretty concise. You can jump on it, you can jump off, you can jump back. And my day job, which I've jumped on and stayed for many years, is at the Lone Source, name of the company. My NMLS number is 384565. My Department of Real Estate is 792630. And, if this is a state, if you're in a state or want to talk about a state that I'm not licensed in, I don't care. I can talk. If you started a loan somewhere else, talk to me about it. I will not try to steal the loan from anybody else. I find that highly unprofessional, but you need, all the guidance you can get, and what one person may know, another that doesn't know, another person may know. But I do want to give again a special thanks to Daryl McCants, who recognizes this show on each of his shows, the Southern California Business Report that he shares with Yvette Walker. Both have been guests on my show before. And I am on his advisory team, as he is on mine, along with Bill Morris of UCI, who teaches entrepreneurship, which is a wonderful thing. And the Southern California Business Report now is at 4 p.m. on Tuesdays. So what is today? It's National Vanilla Ice Cream Day. And don't be calling me vanilla, although, I love vanilla, but we don't always want to admit that, do we? So the month of July is National Ice Cream Month. That's the whole month. So tip your hat to the second most popular flavor of ice cream in America, vanilla. I'm going to guess that the first one is chocolate. Might that be true? That's probably true. The third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, introduced this flavor, vanilla, to the States and may have discovered it while visiting France. He produced a handwritten copy of the vanilla ice cream recipe in the 1780s, and only 10 copies remain, but you don't need a copy to enjoy vanilla ice cream. In fact, the Library of Congress houses one copy that has a cookie recipe on the flip side. The ice cream parlor at Mr. Rushmore in South Dakota serves the same recipe. Jefferson also discovered now you're talking. Now I know why he was a president of the United States. He discovered macaroni and cheese in France and served it at a state dinner in 1802. He even sketched a macaroni machine. And among other things, it is said he was even responsible for the popularization. He even made it popular, popularization of French fries in America. And yes, I love French fries and macaroni and cheese. And if you remember what I looked like last year, you know that I ate quite a bit of it. Did you know? It is said that the ice cream cone was invented by Charles E. Menches. He's a Mensch, all right, at the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis, Missouri on this day. The world's record for the largest ice cream cone ever made was in 2015 in Norway with a cone over 10 feet high. Send me in. New Zealand consumes more ice cream than any other country. That's got to be per capita, right? Because they don't have that many people on there. And you should be listening to Mysterious Universe every week. They have certain names for that's out of Australia. They have certain names which I cannot repeat. Very funny about New Zealand. After saffron, vanilla is the most expensive spice in the world, really. Some of the strangest flavors of ice cream are avocado, garlic, chili, hot dog, licorice, okay, Stilton cheese, and bacon ice cream. NASA once said that ice cream is within the top 3 foods astronauts miss the most. What do you miss the most out there? So go out for some ice cream today and make it vanilla for a change. Peanut butter and chocolate day. And what do you think of with peanut butter and chocolate? Thank you. Here, the maid has just handed this to me. And there are some Reese's peanut butter cups. And we have the regular ones, milk chocolate, and we have the dark ones, with the dark chocolate. Now, these are pretty small, so that's why I try to eat a dozen at a time. In fact, this is what I'll eat during the breaks of the show. So Harry Reese worked on a dairy farm owned by Milton Hershey, the Hershey Chocolate King. And in 1928, Harry began working with the idea of mixing peanut butter and chocolate in cups. We also do that with pretzels. And here in this household, we call them moon rocks, and we'll get to those moon rocks a little bit later. At one point, Reese was under pressure to support his 10 children with one on the way, so he took a paper mill job in Pennsylvania and a second job as a butcher and third job canning vegetables. By 1928, he invented the prized candy that we're talking about here and an automatic manufacturing process, and soon was packing 120, that's enough for one sit down for me, individually wrapped pieces per box that sold for a penny per cup. He founded the H.B. Reese Candy Company. Today, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups is the #2 best-selling candy product behind M&M's. Yeah, I can see that. M&M's are very good. And what we're going to do right now is, here is the man we're talking about, right? A little bit later in life. And there he is. And this is not an I Love Lucy thing. This is the real plant that he put together. I hope he wasn't working those other 3 jobs at the same time. And look at those peanut butter cups. Now, I have this. Do you remember why I did this? I don't remember why I did this picture, but who cares? It's a pretty cool picture. It has something to do with peanut butter cups and the man we're talking about. But it looks like maybe he's sad because he doesn't have a peanut butter cup within reach. I don't know. What do I know? And this is a small, and what do it say? I need new glasses here, but that's next month. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, The Untold Story. A book. And you don't need to read it because we just told you about everything you need to know. We got a few minutes left, so we have NASA Nellie in orbit. And NASA Nellie is going to try to come twice to talk to us, but we're going to talk about the Carson Sink UFO incident, and that's her retro rockets going off, and I don't know what the sink means, but we're going to find out. So I'll move out of the way and speak up here, and NASA Nellie will take over.
The Carson Sink UFO incident. On July 24th, 1952, only 5 years after the Roswell UFO incident, John McKean and John Barton, 2 United States Air Force colonels, were on the way from Hamilton Field near San Francisco to Colorado Springs, Colorado. They both worked at the Pentagon at the time and were very familiar with military craft, domestic and foreign. They were flying over Carson Sink, Nevada, and saw 3 unknown craft ahead of them. They felt that they were flying too high for jets and were even flying a V formation, which was abnormal for a military aircraft. They said the craft had no tails or pilot's canopies, were bright silver, and had a ridge that ran from nose to tail. The craft made a sharp turn and passed them 3 times the speed of an F-86, placing them...
No pictures, Nellie? No, okay.
placing them out of sight within 4 seconds. The pilots reported the incident to headquarters and were told that no civilian, military aircraft, or weather balloon have been anywhere near Carson Sink. It was reported then to Project Blue Book but remained unexplained. It was considered a good UFO report with an unknown conclusion. Both pilots have friends who had themselves reported UFOs. What makes this event so noteworthy is the reliability and expertise of the witnesses.
Well, thank you, NASA Nelly. Now, are you going to stay on Earth? Or you're going back in orbit till the next
I'll
time?
go back in orbit. I'll be back
Okay,
later.
let's listen for the. Now, one thing you mentioned there. What did you mention I was going to talk about? I forgot. Yeah, weather balloons. Everything is a weather balloon or the planet Venus or,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. I was going to talk about the show, Blue Book. I don't know if anybody saw. I was really looking forward to it, and I guess they're not renewing it again that I know of.
Sure.
But I think I can use this word on the radio. Basically, it sucked. It got, that some of the stuff was fascinating in that it showed you how somebody like Hynek, who is, professor and an astronomer, how he was able to turn some of these things around and make it sound logical that it was something else besides a UFO. And, I think some of those were very good, but they also had this spy BS in there and people being murdered. And, it just got off on tangents that, and they tried to have too many good looking people in it. And, I ain't one of those good looking people, but I don't mind seeing them on television, but it was highly disnecessary. So what do we believe in here on this planet, on this show? We believe in challenging the status quo. Families and people need to be active, not reactive. And then we're going to take a break in a few minutes. Did you want to take that break now, Sean, or in 5 minutes? Okay, so we'll start. I'll let you know we've got some birthdays. First one has got, a little bit of sadness to it, obviously. Philip Seymour Hoffman was born July 23rd, today's the 23rd, 1967, and passed away in 2014, unfortunately, of a overdose or probably a mistaken overdose. And that's something we all need to, just as an aside here, and we got a doctor coming. I used to take a lot of prescriptions. I take less now that I'm just half of the size I was. But if you actually read what the prescription, the paperwork that comes with it, you really should. I used to never. There are some reactions, and some of them are actually pretty serious, and how you could lose your life if, like, you're getting things from 2 different doctors or this or that, and you mix it together, and you're not in good shape. Anyway, Hoffman was an American actor and director, best known for his distinctive roles as typically lowlifes, eccentrics, bullies, and misfits. I guess that could be true. Let me see. He doesn't look like a misfit in this picture. Oh, there you go. He looks like a misfit here, that's for sure. But still could be a good character actor. And then he kind of reminds me of what he looked like in Twister here. But you know what? He became a multi character, all-around actor that looked more like this. And a really, really talented fella, and I'm really sorry that he ain't with us no more. So Philip was born in Fairport, New York, and his mother, a school teacher, becoming a family court judge, and his father, who worked for Xerox Corporation. His parents divorced when he was 9. Living with his mother, he saw a stage production, and he said, I was permanently changed by that experience. It was like a miracle to me. He had developed a love for the theater. He joined a drama club and said, I love the camaraderie of it, the people, and that is when I decided this is what I wanted to do. And he really, did a great job of it. Remember him in Twister? He was just one of the punks running around, and it was perfect for that. And if you saw him in Twister, you probably never considered the fact he was going to become a top-notch star in his own right. So he attended the New York State Summer School of the Arts in Saratoga Springs and later applied for several drama degree programs. And just before we get off on a break here, I'll tell you that after graduating, he worked in off-Broadway theater and made additional money doing customer service jobs. He made his screen debut in a Law and Order television. My God, Law and Order has been around almost as long as Dr. No. And then small film roles followed. What's that? Doctor Who. Oh, sorry. Once he starred in the film Scent of a Woman with Al Pacino, he abandoned his job in a delicatessen. Well, I don't know about that. I'd love that to become a professional actor. He continued to do stage work between films and later worked as a waiter, grocery store clerk, and even lifeguard to pay the bills. And with that, we're going to give it back to the station. We're going to have a very, very short break, and then we're going to come back with one or two of our doctors. And take care of yourself. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Thanks. Welcome back, everybody, to the Educated Retirement Show here on KMET, where we contemplate retirement, how to best stay retired, and enjoy it, and how to best stay healthy while enjoying your retirement. And even if you're not retired, like I'm not retired at the ripe old age of 75, health is very, very important, and that's why we have our guest or guests who are repeat offenders, the people that taught me that hospice is not a dirty word. It's not a bad word. It's generally a part of growing. And we're going to let the doctor or doctors speak as they will. But let's go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll take some time doing that, and we'll go from there.
So happy Friday, Jay.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks. And my name is Dr. Rosh Shamsian. I'm one of the house officers at Golden Years Hospice Care. I work with our 2 medical directors in making sure patients are doing well. I'm also in charge of the daily operations to make sure everybody's happy, patient satisfaction, patient safety. That is my main concern, basically, and also working together with community liaisons to build community relationships and help build a strong standpoint of what we offer in the community.
And that is so important. And you know what I love? Go ahead if you want to anyway, and repeat what you guys had told me about what hospice really is, that it's the time you get some bad news. However, it's the time you continue to,
So, right. So going off of that, hospice is more considered as like supportive care. And the reason I say that, it's not specifically designed just only for people who are terminally dying. So if you have a disease or something that you need help with, you can actually ask for supportive care. A good example would be If you have cancer, for example, and you're going through chemotherapy and you need supportive care, which is the nurse, the doctor, supplies, and everything to help you, that's kind of part of our palliative care.
Right, and palliative care was the other word that you guys are important in providing.
Right.
Because I know chemo, I've got a friend on chemo. She's been fighting brain cancer for 34 years. And, there's a few more tumors that showed up. And, chemo is just really not good for some people. I guess some people can handle it better than others. And not all chemo is the same, is it?
Right.
So,
not all chemo is the same. And then some patients do actually go through chemotherapy and they see that, their disease is not progressing in the right direction, where therefore they can start a discussion with their doctor, their oncologist, and say, what's the next step? What can I do? The doctor will discuss with them that maybe it's easier, instead of being in the hospital all the time, to be at home with the family. And that's where hospice comes in. It's that supportive care. So you're not alone. The family's not alone. You have the nurse coming visit you. You have a team of doctors. So we're there for you. And that's kind of the supportive team. Like if you need help with daily activities, caregivers, and all that stuff. And the good thing about this is when someone starts thinking that they need supportive care, is at the same time, we can also remind them about what other things they need to worry about. For example, like make estate planning or figuring out if they need reverse mortgages. And then also that time is if they need to think about the mortuary, funeral arrangements, end of care, life, arrangements. Most people we talk to, about 98% of the population, doesn't really think about this stuff.
right.
And that's kind of a problem. You don't want to wait until the last minute where you don't have the capacity to think and you're in pain or agony to say, this is my wishes, this is what I want. So the sooner that someone can figure out and plan out what your wishes are and the family's wishes are, we can help them and guide them, connect them to the people that we know in the community, and really make sure that we follow their dreams and wishes and hopes during this hard time that they're in.
And at that same time, you help them keep fighting to stay alive, to find out what choices they do have. Giving up is not a part of hospice, correct?
Correct. It's not about giving up. It's about, being there for you as a team, and trying to see how we can do to help improve you. We don't want you to think that life is hopeless. We don't want you to think, that you gave up because you have an illness. Like the compassion part of it is there. We have that. We bring hope to the family. We have, bereavement counselors that can come and help. We have a lot of things.
And before I talk to you gentlemen or doctors, before the first show, I was always thinking that hospice was a place. It was a place that you went to get the care, and that I'm sure that exists. I know that
it used to exist too. And so in medical school, I learned about that same concept. But over the years, things have changed. It's been, the philosophy has changed. It used to be like a senior living area, kind of like that, if you can imagine, where people go to these facilities, and that would be where they would get hospice care support. Nowadays, a lot of people have transitioned from that concept, and they're saying, I want to be home with my loved ones. I don't want to die alone. I don't want to be in a facility or surrounded by people I don't know. I want to be comfortable in my own bed or comfortable in my own home. Having that, capability, especially during now, even with COVID coming around. Like if patients are at their own home and they're comfortable, it's easier for family members to come and visit them. Whereas if they were at a facility, the probability of them being allowed to come in and, see their loved ones,
I know, just crazy.
It would be extremely hard.
and when you're fighting to stay alive by doing everything you can with the doctor, and you being a part of those decisions, I mean, being in a facility, and especially this last year where nobody could visit you, that had to be horrible.
Yeah, that's really hard on the family, especially even thinking, putting into context, like people who had COVID and they were stuck at the hospital, and people died, and unfortunately family members weren't able to see them or say goodbye. It was either video chat or not being there with their loved ones to hold their hands for the last moment and telling them I love you. So this whole entire concept of hospice moving into the homes has really helped a lot of people connect. It's giving people time to have with their loved ones and really make sure to understand what life is, the quality of life, and be grateful for the moment.
You help people continue with their quality of life and to continue with hope.
Correct. And another thing is to make sure people will not be suffering. We do manage their pain. A lot of people have that question, is like, well, I'm suffering, I'm in pain. Is there anything going to happen? And yes, we understand that. The whole purpose of the supportive care is to make sure that you're not suffering, make sure you're not in pain, make sure that, we're taking care of you. And that's the whole concept of the supportive team and supportive care.
Absolutely. And it's like stepwise as you get older. Of course, when you're younger, you don't even think that you'll ever die. When you're just a kid like me at 75, I never consider those things, but I should. And I really think that you mentioned mortuary and things like that. If you get that done now, I mean, who's it going to help? Yeah, we all think it's going to help our families after we're gone. But you know what? It's going to help us, too. It's done. It's out of the way, right?
Well, part of that is also however you want to plan it. You know what I mean? Your children might plan it some way that you might not like, or you have special requirements that you want, whether it be burial or cremation. And the whole thing is, if you're alive now and active, it's easier to plan this stuff. It's easier to say, this is my wishes. Like, I want to be cremated, or I want to have a proper funeral. This is what I want, and your wishes can actually come true, versus like a last minute where your relatives might not even care and do something that you probably didn't want.
Right. So, the idea is to get these things taken care of way in advance. And I believe you people, for people that are afraid of the costs of these things, I believe that you folks at Golden Years have some ways to get around that, or some people to talk to that can get you better prices and things like that.
So basically, working with the community, that's my responsibility, is to help the community. So I partner up with, for example, Everloved. And what they do is, I don't know if you can see it, they're basically letting people have funeral services for a very low cost. They know how it is, more memorial services, celebrations of life. They will help with online, like obituaries, slideshows, video shows where you can present to families, help with the burial costs, help with cremation at a very, very low cost, a fraction of the price. And they're trying to make this whole process not only personalizable, it's very affordable compared to other mortuaries where they'll charge up to $5,000 to $10,000 for a memorial burial service, where they're offering it less than $2,000. They're trying to also make it stress-free, where they're able to help you and guide you through the hard time planning things out. And this would be extremely important, and part of currently the 21st century and the digital age that we're in. It's really immortalizing our loved ones.
I like that. Yeah. Thank you.
That's basically, keeping everything digitally, having a digital obituary, digital photo album, videos, being able to share that stuff. So families can share pictures and videos of that loved one and share that amongst multiple people
That's
around
great.
the world. Because imagine if you have, you have relatives that are in a different country, or if they're in New York or Florida, and you passed away in California, but they can't fly because of COVID. You don't want them to miss out on your funeral. This will give them an opportunity to be part of your loving memory.
Right. And, I just went to one for a friend of mine who unexpectedly passed away a couple of weeks ago. And, we had a couple celebrations, one where except me, because I'm not allowed to drink, but a lot of drinking, a lot of celebrating. And then the family, extended family, I think there was about 200 people there. And, several people got up and spoke, but they had a great video slideshow that was really important, I thought, to make it actually work. But you know what I'd like to do right now, since we're talking about how great you are and how much pleasure you give to people, let's give out all your contact information. So go ahead and please do that.
So there's a couple of ways people can reach out to us. Our phone number is 888-909-3227, 1-888-909-3227. People can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or on social media. You can even go to our website, which can also connect you to what we have, what we offer. Even could give you our phone number again. It's at goldenyearshospice.com, goldenyearshospice.com. You can even email us from there. You can do reach out in any way that you feel comfortable, phone call, email, or even through social media. We'll reach out and be there for the family, help answer questions. If there's a lot of questions of whether, someone's eligible for hospice, can we take care of them? We're more than happy to discuss all that stuff with them at the same time, is to kind of say, we hear from you from day one, and not to think about, you're here for me when I need you. That's not the purpose. It's we're here for you now, not later.
Now, it's a part of growing older, and I think all people, and I've brought up, thank you, Ron Siegel, Household Board of Directors, but, other than financial people and realtors and people like myself, you need to know, you and your family need to know who to call for, say, in-home care. You don't want to wait until somebody falls down or you need in-home care. Interview these people. Call them up now. And if you don't know who to call, I'm sure if you call Dr. A, we call him Dr. A. But no, you don't. You use your whole name. I'm the one that put the A because of Mr. B. But, use that number that was just given to you, and you'll get recommendations. You need to interview way in advance who you want for your in-home care or who you want for your parents' in-home care. Also, you need to know about in-home health care or health care if it's at a facility or one of those resorts for, people as you grow older. It's a normal part of aging, and you need to know who those people are well in advance. And the hospice and palliative care, especially in a way, you need to know that too. So give a call and talk to these people and get things prepared for yourself, right?
Right. I mean, this is a good way to think about it, supportive care for if, children are looking to have an extra eye for their parents who have Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, any neurodegenerative disease, and they're not able to visit their parents every day or check up on them. This way, part of the supportive care would be to have a nurse actually go visit them every other day. We can have our
Right.
team call them every day to make sure they're okay. We we talk with the pharmacy policies to make sure that they're taking their medications. We have all these policies in place to make sure that we're taking our care of these patients. My main concern again is patient satisfaction and patient safety. I really watch over every single patient, make sure there's no issues, make sure everything is dealt with. Our purpose or main goal is to try to prevent patients from going to the hospital.
Yeah.
Being admitted to the hospital is, it's still possible even when you're with us. It's not like if you come and join this hospice care or palliative program that you are not qualified to go to your hospital. That's a really big misconception. You can even still go see your primary care doctor. That's still okay. We're not saying you can't, but the whole point is to prevent people from going to the hospital, and especially during this time during COVID, increasing the risk of getting infections and being, boggled down at a hospital. So what we do is we bring the medical services to you directly. So when patients have issues or there's problems, they'll call us and say, "Hey doc, I have pain in my right knee, or I have pain here." And then we'll give them the right medication. We'll call the pharmacy. The pharmacy will send the medications to them directly. They don't have to leave their home. And especially now that, COVID's coming back up, it builds up another safety layer for them. Like, you don't have to go out to feel like you're getting sick. Everything comes to you. The nurses come to you. Everybody takes their COVID precautions very strictly with us. The last thing we want to do is get anybody sick, and that's
right. I'm sure your entire staff is vaccinated and ready to go.
Yes, we're all vaccinated, but still we take extra precautions.
Of course, yeah.
Just to be on the safe side.
Because we do see some infections coming in for people who have been vaccinated, but they don't seem to be very serious kind of infections. So it's so important to get vaccinated, but that's the subject for a whole different show. But yeah, but you guys are so nice. I mean, it's almost as if I want to get in your care, but I'm not volunteering for that yet. But it's so nice to have people, real caring people like yourself and your partners there.
Yeah, it's more of like a concierge service, how people pay extra to have a doctor on call and to have a nursing staff. Well, this is kind of the same thing that Medicare pays for. So once again, everybody thinks, well, how much is this going to cost me? How, why, I'm worried about getting the supportive care. How much is it going to cost me? And once again, they don't have to worry about anything because it's already covered through Medicare. So that's the beauty about it. It's really, think about it as concierge service or supportive care that's cost free for your loved ones.
And that goes for the palliative care also, correct?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I really think, Medicare is one of the best inventions ever. And I know it's helped me so much over the last year and a half, and it helps everybody, and it keeps people from being afraid to call you because there's no price tag there.
Right. And that's kind of the one thing that most people hold out on. It's like, well, this sounds so good.
Yeah.
I get someone to come over, help me take a shower, or I have a nurse come and check up on me. I have my medications delivered to me.
Right.
If I have a problem, I can call the staff and they connect me to the doctor and all this stuff. But how much is it going to cost me?
Right. Because most things that are worth it cost something. But you know what? You have paid for it. It's not free. You and everyone else in this country have already chipped in. And when you need these services, everything you've chipped in is put in a fund and out it comes. So, you deserve it.
It's better to use it than lose it.
Yeah, that is true. So true. And you were speaking earlier, as our time starts to wind down, unfortunately, you were speaking earlier about expansions.
Yeah, so basically, we're working with different hospitals right now, mostly in the Orange County area,
Oh, okay.
Irvine, Santa Ana. We have a team of doctors coming out. The great part about being with our program is we actually do have doctors come out and see you physically every month. So even though you have a doctor that's on tap, like that concierge service, and the nurses
Uh-huh.
that come and see you every week, you're actually are going to have a doctor come and see you, sit down with you, talk with you, and make sure you're doing well. So
And
that's
next time you need to come out to Orange County or beyond, let me know. I'll pick you up at the train station.
I
So,
will.
you know, so because you guys were on Ron Siegel's show, I think.
Last week, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Right.
yeah,
I think you were there one day before I was there.
yeah.
So yeah, the expansion is great. The networking, and I hope to be more a part of your networking situation. We'll try to get together with some of those people I had spoken about earlier, maybe within the next week or 2 weeks. It won't be out in Riverside or anywhere. It'll be in Los Angeles. I'll take the train, and we'll try to meet there. We met last time at Grand Central Market, and that's a great place, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. It has a lot of history. It means the surrounding areas have a lot of history as well.
Oh yeah, I'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a great place to visit if nobody's ever gone and visited. It's another like a treasure of LA.
it is. It sure is. And there's so many treasures, whether it's LA or whatever. We can't stop thinking about the treasures that are a part of life. And even if you're in hospice care, when you're in hospice care with people like, that we're talking to right now, you will still keep remembering and experiencing the treasures of life. That's so important. And who knows how long life's going to go on. So, you never know. You're still fighting. There are still new cures coming out every day for things. So you got to keep on top of it, right?
Right? And that's the whole point, is to never lose hope and to understand there's always a supportive team here for you. It's to show that we are really one big family, even though we're not next to each other. We
Yeah.
think of you as a family. We provide the care. We're there for you. That's the whole idea behind it.
Yeah, I already think of you guys as family, even though, we haven't known each other that long, but you're a younger part of the family. I'm the old,
The old and wise one.
the grandpa of the group.
Yeah.
But I don't think of myself that way, but I are that way. And unfortunately, somebody invented mirrors, and I do have a good imagination, but it ain't that good. So, we have to. One more reminder: when you look in the mirror and you see you're not 24 anymore, call these people up. Let them give you recommendations on in-home care. And if you fall down or a loved one falls down, you know exactly who to call because you've interviewed these people and you love these people, and these people will take care of you and your loved ones. Which reminds me, we have a couple of minutes left, unless you want to keep going, but we're going to have you back next month, right?
Right. So we already
And-
scheduled some time with you.
Oh yeah.
Our phone number again is 888-909-3227, 888-909-3227. So if anybody wants to reach out, we can even discuss about other options like, estate planning and
Yeah.
what to do with the future. It doesn't really we don't have to talk about hospice. We can talk about, the connections and the community programs that we're in. If they need referrals to doctors, if they need anything, we can help connect them and really basically help plan for the future.
Right, because if you're alive, you have a future, as Susan Giffen used to say at her at her seminars. And boy, she used to get like 300 people at a time at those seminars. And I think it's kind of indirectly through Susan that you and I met to begin with, through, I believe, One Heart, correct?
Right, through One Heart.
And I got to know One Heart through Susan Geffen, so there you go. And so we've got to go, and we're going to look forward to having you back next month. But in the meantime, remember, call these people. If you didn't get the phone number, check it out. I mean, it's going to be on the show notes. It's going to be, everywhere on the videos. Call them up before you need them, way before you need them. And then when something happens, you're not spooked. You're not worried. You're not up against the wall. Okay. So thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.
You're
all
welcome.
the time, and I think about you more than you know, because you're such good guys. But we got to go now, and we'll see each other soon. Take care, and for everyone else, we've got some news coming, and don't go away. I'll be right back.